Hey everyone, we are live streaming. This is Monica Cornetti, and I'm the Chief Engagement Officer at Sententia Gamification, and I'm also the Game Master for GamiCon. And we do 2 events a year, one that's virtual, so we can bring in a truly global audience of participants, and then of course speakers. And then we do a live one that's co-located with Training Magazine's Tech Learn Conference. So our live event will be in New Orleans. Yeah. In September of this year, 2023. But we have our virtual one coming up February 26th through 28th. And the challenge with going 48 hours, well, there's lots of challenges with that. But actually, I wrote a blog this morning about how you can make the best use of your time during these 48 hours. So I'm going to share that blog. But the reality is 48 hours seems like a long time, but when we look at scheduling speakers, we simply ran out of slots. And I know too many people who are super creative and talented in designing these great programs that I just couldn't pass them by. So I asked them to join me in these pre-conference micro sessions. And Ilana Griffin, who's with us today, is one of those. And I get all weepy as I introduce her because she just had such a huge impact on my life, her impact in the world of instructional design and her colleagues and her coworkers and who she is as an individual on top of all of that professional stuff. So Ilana is one of our master craftsmen. We got to hang out together in June at the deep dive design intensive mastermind that we do for the level 3 master craftsman gamification certification. But Ilana and a colleague of hers from Microsoft designed a program that the potential is just phenomenal because it can go digital, it can go low tech. She can do these iterations to it to make it fit. And actually, that's the name of the program, which is Find the Perfect Fit. So Ilana, welcome. Thank you so much for flexing your schedule.
Thanks for the very nice introduction. It's great to be here. It's been so fun working with you all and really kind of leveling up my gamification. I'm very excited to share a little bit about Find the Perfect Fit today.
Good. So Ilana is going to actually share the program that she designed for a work group at Microsoft, and they got a chance to deploy it. So she's going to share some things with us so that we can explore that together and ask questions along the way. So go ahead, Ilana, take it.
Awesome.
Take it away.
Thank you, Monica. So I'm going to share a little bit while I explain a little more about Find the Perfect Fit. So Find the Perfect Fit was designed to support Microsoft Store advocates and employees who are answering the phones, answering the emails, helping via chat for anyone who is looking to purchase a device from Microsoft. So we have people all over the world. It's a very diverse group of learners and players, right? So really thinking about, who is the persona of our learner? What would entice them? These are young folks, typically between 20 and 30. And what we started to focus on really, starting with the problem and what we're trying to solve with the business. And that was helping our people find the perfect Surface device for that scenario, for that situation that the customer might be facing. Now, this was in the middle of kind of the end of the pandemic. And so we really wanted that flexibility for the business and the flexibility for the learner. So we decided to build this in what we call high flex modality, where the learner or the business can take either modality, instructor-led or online, and perform kind of that course work. And then they have a gamified assessment online to take to quantify that new skill that they learned in that training. So Find the Perfect Fit was first launched to support the Surface fundamentals. And I do want to show you the actual game as well, because it's been such a fun developing it. But really quickly, let me just talk a little bit more about the business need before we get into why we did this and what the results were. So, we're Microsoft. We make money off of the devices that we sell. So we want to make more money, right? We want to sell more devices. We want to increase also the customer satisfaction. So when people are interacting with us, they're happy and they got the right device, right, for them and their need. And so we call that customer satisfaction. That's where that CSAT is. DSAT is the dissatisfaction. So we want to make sure they're not unhappy. We want to make sure they're very happy. All right. So we really kind of use the model of going fish, right? And letting our learners, our players here in Surface Level 1 identify based on our top call drivers, what is the perfect fit for this movie. I'm going to go ahead and mute
That's
the
great.
fun sounds, but that's in there. And, we put a lot of thought into the gamified mechanics that we wanted to use that supported our learner persona. And of course, our learner persona is very diverse because they're all over the world. But who doesn't love card games, right? Who doesn't like solitaire?
Welcome to this edition. It's time to put your Surface devices.
So I'll skip over the little introduction here. And so we give the learners an opportunity to answer these questions. They earn coins and points. They have to get a certain amount of points and coins in order to pass, which is about 80%. What's really fun is it's dynamic. So these cards are different every single time you take it. There's about 15 or so options. And all of these people, Sophia, these are personas that were mentioned in the course. So these were mentioned in the instructor-led training, in the online training. So they recognize these names, right? And we actually created what I like to call a whole Microsoft cinematic universe of personas. So we created all our actors ahead of time, making sure that we had not only diverse people, but people that really resonated with the scenarios that we get the most. So then the learner has an opportunity to pick the right device. I got it right. I got my points and so forth. What is really great about this also is the learners really don't feel like they're being assessed. This doesn't feel like a test. Like they actually loved coming in here and just trying out their knowledge. We saw them come here multiple times to get that perfect score. They wanted the 100%. And of course, any good game, when you get 100%, you get a little extra something at the end, right? So that incentivized them. We also decided that this was so fun. The new hires that we targeted loved it. They loved it so much that, as I mentioned, they took it multiple times. Oops, you do have to answer. They took it multiple times to get that 100%. And not only that, but over the several months after we launched this, the tenure advocates, our tenure employees, ended up taking it. Not just a few of them, but all 1,000 of them took it because they all wanted to know what this new game was and new hire. So what's really awesome about it is going back to our data, we saw some really, really good data. So at first, kind of looking at our Kirkpatrick and our level 1 and the retention, the reaction of the learners, what did they like it? The smile sheet, right? We have a 5-star rating. 4.6 was our average score. So people loved it. Again, this is the data that we originally had in September. So this data is a little bit outdated, but at that time, we just had the new hires take it. And so we had about 112 new hires. And they all passed the score with at least an 80% rating. As I mentioned, most of them went back and took it again to get that 100%. This is the part that I really love, our L3. Now, the CSAT for those new hires, the first month answering and helping customers was actually at a 0.8% higher than our tenure advocates for 1 year. Okay. So now our new hires are literally coming out of the door, making customers happier than our 1-year-long tenure advocates. And then the other best part is originally the Surface training was 4 hours online. And now it's a half-hour online training with a half-hour assessment. So we reduced the time to proficiency, or some people may call it the speed to competency. And that's money, right? We're not having people just sit at their desks waiting to learn. They know it in such a short amount of time. And so the revenue, obviously was great. I think we estimated a return on investment of $31,000 in September. And so since we're not updating this training constantly, that ROI is only going to go up as we keep this as a shelf life moving forward.
Right. So when you deployed first, you did the low-tech card version, right? To get, yeah.
Of that, let me share it with you. So we did do
The
the
online is really great, Liana. I hadn't seen that, so that's very nice.
So we did the I was like, where are my cards? We did the low tech version also, which is where we developed the cards digital or analog, right? Physically.
Right.
What's really great about this too is in the instructor led training, they actually played this in a group setting, right? Kind of like a Go Fish game. And it's just pretty much the same questions and answers that we have on the online game, right? Of course, we have a more complete deck because we have the whole options. And then what's really nice about this is something that they can take with them after the instructor-led training and kind of play around with it at their own leisure at their desk. And people just love it. They loved it so much that we ended up creating several layers to this, right? The business and the data. So we ended up creating a level 2 and a level 3. The level 2 is on Windows. And we did it a little bit different, kind of taking what I learned from Sententia and adding in different mechanics. So it's fresh. It's still kind of a card game, but here
Welcome to this edition.
we are highlighting features about Windows 11, which just came out recently. And so they're answering questions based upon the features. What's really cute is there's some surprise cards, there's some bonus cards. How I didn't get one of them, but they're really fun. And I think that kind of levels it up again because people are like, oh, I know this game. And of course, I don't get any of the bonuses.
Right.
And then we did it again for holiday. So holiday is a big, big push for us. We have a lot of new stuff and new devices out every holiday. And so we launched this holiday, and this one's a puzzle. And kind of, they had a whole course about Davin and his grandfather, and he gives him this puzzle for Christmas. And you have to answer these questions to reveal where Davin
Welcome to this edition.
and his grandfather
They even shared a
for the holidays. So as you answer questions, part of the puzzle is revealed, letting you know where they're going to go this year for the holiday. So you see how it kind of starts to reveal the image there. It's been really fun. We are still continuing to work on this. We are currently just launched another level to the game, and we're working on another level currently for Microsoft 365. So I'm really excited about the growth of this and how well it's doing in the business and how well it's been received by the learners and the players.
That's really good. And seeing the different features for Microsoft 11, I just had this conversation with Jonathan yesterday. My computer's asking me to update to Microsoft. Should I do it or should I not? Should I do it? Because we had so much to get done. I'm like, I'm just going to wait a day or two. But it looks like it has some really cool features. Yeah, it looks like it has some really great features. So that's fun. I look forward to that now, which is, there's always that pain of the new, and then we're grateful that we finally did the upgrade because it's got some nice features. So very good. This is just delightful. Ilana, you should feel so good about what you created. I know that when you came to the certification, you already had a really good foundation about what you wanted to design. Now, as your students are both Microsoft employees, and then as a consumer, would I also have the option to do it?
Not, unfortunately, no. This is all internal.
Yeah.
But, I think that this has really just opened the doors, I think, to doing more gamification. I think especially the data, which as we can see, I've already built a couple of layers to this and levels to it.
Right.
So you never know what may be coming, on that externally facing. Now that I think it's gotten so well adopted internally, I think people see the huge value and the huge impact that gamification could have. And, even myself, I've been a learning professional for over 20 years. I even have an undergrad in 3D animation and game design, right? And I didn't do a lot of gaming until just recently. And I think, um, you know, I think thinking in hindsight, a lot of people think the fluff and the extra is that, right? It's the fluff and the extra. It's going to wreck my bottom line. It's going to increase my money that I cost to build this training, and my ROI is going to suffer, right? And I think the real honest truth is it's almost reversal. By doing these gamification and these fun, engaging elements, like the sounds and the mechanics, you can actually almost shove 4 hours of training into a 30-minute training.
Right. Yes. And I think about just that, so that fear of lack of knowledge, like when I think I think I'm like most people, that when it's time for us to get a new computer, it's not, Jonathan might be different, but it's not an enjoyable experience for
Right.
me. It's like, okay, what do I need? What questions do I ask? How do I know? And if I got to play your Surface game, to just take me along and play, and well, do you want this? Or you want that? Or, what's up? And then even, challenge why I selected something. Well, maybe you don't need, or maybe you need more, right? So I just think because we want to make a smart choice when we purchase. So by taking the fear away of, I have no idea even what they're talking about, and just making it very game-like, I think it could be really huge for customer facing. Yeah.
Have to have you play this so you can learn more about Windows 11. Just really quickly, I can't not do this, but the one thing I learned about, supporting Microsoft Store, which I was not so widely known to me, is you can actually schedule a personal shopping experience with them, and they will spend up to an hour talking through all the products and services to make sure that you get the right one.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, like
And
literally
just think of the ROI not to take humans out of the mix, but again, it's that if I don't need that, if I can just do this when I'm thinking about it at 2:00 in the morning, let me just get up and take a look.
Welcome to this edition.
Yeah, very fun. So I think you kind of made reference to that, and I know I have a real
Test
challenge.
your knowledge about Windows 11 features and upgrades.
Let me turn this so the audio's gone.
I get almost defensive at times when people say, we don't have time to play a game. We're not going to pay money for people to learn how to make a game. And I get almost defensive about it, because I think that person either like had no friends as a child, or was like told that games are the things of children, and it's time to put away those games because now you're going into adulthood and it's time to get serious, because we're serious people doing serious work. And both of those, just that approach to games don't have a place in our adult life is so skewed. But as you think about, because you've had to take this to leadership, to present the idea and get the funding and the time to build it. So if I was a CLO and I'm like, hey, Microsoft's doing this and this is really good, and we should be leveling up. If I was a CLO and hadn't been exposed to gamification yet, and I was asking you, so Liana, what is the one thing I should know as I start exploring? What would you tell that CLO?
I would tell them they can't afford to not do it. Yeah. I mean, really, you're not going to get the best talent because they're going to want to work on the stuff that's going to move the needle. Right. And I think now that I've gone into this space, I can't get out of it. Right. I've seen the data. I've seen how impactful it is. It's also fun and engaging for the creator, right? Not just for the player. And once you've had that kind of view and that insight, going back to like PowerPoint and lecture based, you're just not going to get the ROI. You're not.
Yeah, you're not. And you just think about 4 hours down to 30 minutes with a 30-minute assessment. That it's not just that time of onboarding. It's also with, as our demographic continues to get younger, that's entering our workforce, a lot of them won't stay for the whole 4 hours because they're like, if this is what work is going to be like here, it's not a good fit for me. And we want to get them woven into that culture of the organization as quickly as possible and get them doing meaningful work. So, every time you can lop off 3 hours of sitting there wanting to stick a pencil in your eye.
And we have so many distractions. I mean, at our fingertips, we're all sitting here with
Yeah.
multiple devices, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can start multitasking while this training's going on. And if
Yeah.
you start engaging them, they're just going to click, click, click.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So good, Liana. I'm just going to say, I want to hear me say that. I think you should feel so good about it, because I know the blood, sweat, tears, and choices that had to be made along the way, and it's just developed into a really great program. And I look forward to, and I know you can't make a one-to-one connection, although I always like to take the credit for the number of sales increasing. I know that you can't just say, well, that's a result of this training, but it really would be interesting to see the impact that it can have on sales. That would be a nice number to take a look at once you have some more data on it.
Yeah. And I think I can't wait to get the data on the Windows and the holiday one, and some of the other levels that we're bringing. So I think that's going to be one of my big focus this year, is just kind of collecting that data and seeing what our impact is. It also took a team, right? This was a great team that I worked with, my subject matter experts, my stakeholders who believed and trusted me to do this game, right? And also my amazing instructional designers and graphic designers that I had to help me kind of put this vision together.
Yeah, very good. So we mentioned the other day, because we spoke with Brittany Moranis, who got the GAB group, the Gamification Advisory Board, and Liana's part of that GAB group also. And you can see the impact that it's having in Microsoft. If you think about your organization and you've got teams of learning and development professionals in all different capacities, how powerful would it be to get something like GAB going for people who want to learn more and explore and see, well, what could we do differently to make this more engaging and effective? Not just about fun. Fun is great. We love fun, but then you're also going to see the impact of the effectiveness of it. So, Liana, I'm so delighted that you shared that, because I had not seen everything yet. So that's really nice. Very good. I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you for taking time out of your super busy schedule. I know you keep it full all the way around. You can follow Liana on LinkedIn. She's Team Working Mom on Instagram. Is that right? Team.workingmom. And she's got a great channel with really fun reels going always. So just connect with Liana and keep plugging in. And Liana, I hope that you'll be able to come and hang out at GamiCon for a bit. Again, I know your schedule's full, but if you can drop in, and people would love to talk with you about what you've developed, I imagine. So that would be great if you can stop by during GamiCon on February 26th through 28th. So thank you. It's great having you here today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Monica. It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.